From the Vancouver Golden Eyes to the Minnesota Frost to the Seattle Torrent to PWHL Hamilton to the Ottawa Charge to the Boston Fleet. And now it's time to take a look at the class of 2026 for the New York Sirens. Welcome to this episode of Sports for Beginners, the podcast. Welcome to our continuing coverage of the 2026 PWHL Draft Class Recap 12-episode series. Let's get rolling. Welcome to Sports for Beginners. This is the show where I cover the Pittsburgh Penguins, Toronto Blue Jays, and take you on a journey through the world of sports from the fans' perspective. Here is your host, Scott McGregor. Let's have some fun. Hey everyone, how are ya? Great to be with you today. I am Scott McGregor, your host of the program. Welcome to another episode of Sports for Beginners, the podcast, episode 16 of season number 5 of the podcast. Continuing our 12-episode series with the PWHL 2026 Draft Class Recap. Previously, we have done the Vancouver Golden Eyes, PWHL Hamilton, Seattle Torrent, Ottawa Charge, and the Minnesota Frost, as well as, most recently, the Boston Fleet. It's a big day before we jump into the action. It's a big day for the NFL as they begin the tune-ups for the upcoming NFL season coming soon, very soon, with preseason starting today. As far as games are considered, we will have the Hall of Fame game today, which I will provide a little later. By the time you do hear this show, hopefully it does drop today. It could drop today before kickoff, or it could drop tomorrow day after kickoff. I will provide a little bit of a pick for the game today between the Panthers and the Cardinals, but we'll get to that a little bit, maybe in our second half of the show. Today it's all about visiting the class of 2026 for the New York Sirens. They had picks in each of the 6 rounds, including the 7th pick, 19th pick, 31st pick, 43rd pick, 55th pick, 67th pick, and we will get to how they picked in the number of picks I just mentioned overall in just a moment. In our opening motion of the program, as we roll on, we will touch on rounds 1 through 3 before going to rounds 4 through 6. But it should be noted that, in case you have missed it on our shows, a total of 72 players were selected by the league's 12 teams during the 6-round process of the draft this past June, on June 17th, 2026, which was, I believe, if memory serves me correctly, the actual draft date. Let's start with round 1 as we jump right in. In round 1 of the 2026 PWHL Draft, the New York Sirens selected 7th overall, and they would select Emma Pichell, defender from the Ohio State University in Edina, Minnesota. That is where she is residing from. Then they went with a forward from Finland, from the Frölunda Hockey Club. Hopefully I had that correct. No, I didn't say that right. So I'll just go with the H Hockey Club, just in case I didn't get it right. And their pick at 19th overall, which was a forward in the second round, their second pick of the draft, but only pick of the second round. That would be Elisa Holopainen, Elisa H. Just in case I didn't pronounce that correctly. My apologies if I did not pronounce it correctly. She is coming from Tsunami, Finland. I probably didn't get that right, so I'll just say she is coming from Finland, regardless. All right, rolling right through it. Let's get right down to our last pick of our opening segment. Pick number 3, the 31st pick overall, and the 3rd round pick for the New York Sirens, the team we are talking about in conversation today. That is Caitlin Roberts. Nope, I went to pick number 4 there. That was their 44th pick. 43rd pick, excuse me. What I meant to say was Carina DiAntonio, forward from Yale University, and she is from Mississauga, Ontario. So she is coming from a side of Canada, Mississauga, Ontario. Once again, the name is Carina DiAntonio, who is coming to the New York Sirens as their 31st pick overall. Coming up on the program, as we go to a quick commercial break, we go to a little football talk before we go rounds 4 through 6 in our next 3-part draft class segment, in which we will look at picks 43rd, 55th, and 67th of the New York Sirens. After a break after that, we will go to revealing the entire draft class overall. I'll give you some of my picks that I thought were pretty good, and picks that I thought might be a bit sketchy or could have gone earlier. But right before we get to that, coming up after this break, we're going to take a break from hockey, go to a little football, and I have a very special announcement for football coverage. So be sure to hang around with us after the commercial break to hear what that is, which comes your way after the break. Hang with us. This episode continues in a few short moments. Don't go anywhere. There's more great conversations and content right around the corner. Sports for Beginners will be right back in a moment.
Have you ever wanted a talk show that discusses news, politics, the show's favorite sports teams, as well as sports media and broadcasting? Check out The Ali Musa Show, where we discuss these topics in a single package. To learn more about the show, please visit thealimusashow.ca. While you're over there, subscribe to the newsletter so you never miss an update. Besides, it's free. Enter your email address and hit subscribe.
The Ali Musa Show is part of the Musa Slobodian Network, where good conversations happen. To learn more about the network, please visit themusaslobodiannetwork.ca. While you're there, subscribe so you never miss a network update. Enter your email and hit subscribe.
Humans have been reaching for the stars since the beginning of time. It's human nature to push ourselves to the limits of possibility. From the beginning of time, every mode of transportation has invited competition. Global audiences continue to flock to the latest platforms and new experiences, and audiences love a competition they can get behind. Atlas Cup marries the excitement of space exploration, the thrill of F1 racing, the energy of a world championship, and creates an entirely new sport. The world is ready for space racing. Being first is everything.
Hey Ali, did you know we have a books panel?
I did not know that. When is it?
It takes place on the last Friday of each month at 7:30 p.m. Eastern,
Where we have fun and engaging conversations.
about a book that one of the panelists picks.
So, how can I learn more about the show?
To learn more, please visit bookspanel.ca. While you're there, subscribe to the newsletter so you never miss an update. Besides, it's free. Enter your email and hit subscribe.
The Books Pen is part of the Musa Slobodian Network, where good conversations happen.
To learn more about the network, please visit themusaslobodiannetwork.ca. While you're over there, hit subscribe so you never miss a network update. Enter your email and hit subscribe.
CNT Radio will never give you up. They will never let you down, nor will they run around or desert you. So join Nick Astley for The Melting Pot every Saturday on CNT Radio. Hang on a minute. He's not Nick Astley. Oh, jings, I've done it wrong. Anyway, just join Nick for The Melting Pot on CNT Radio.
Now, let's take you back to the action. To the rink and field we go. We find Scott McGregor.
All right, folks, welcome back to the program here. Thank you so much for being with us. We have a lot to get to here, but in case you missed it earlier, on episode 16 of season number 5 of Sports for Beginners, the podcast, we are talking about the New York Sirens 2026 draft class, as they are our 6th team to run down. 5 teams down, 5 teams to go, are now about 4 teams down. 4 teams to go, I should say. 6 teams down, 4 teams to go, which means we have 4 episodes left. Well, here we go, folks. Taking a little break from hockey for a bit to talk NFL preseason football. There are 3 weeks in the preseason, including the Hall of Fame week, which is tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, and that will feature the teams of the Carolina Panthers and the Arizona Cardinals. Now, it is important to know that a lot of teams, including the Buffalo Bills, have gone through some coaching changes. For example, the Buffalo Bills, speaking of them, have moved on from Sean McDermott as defensive coordinator and, of course, head coach of the Buffalo Bills. But who did they replace him with? Offensive coordinator Joe Brady. He is the new head coach of the Buffalo Bills. We'll talk about that more on a Buffalo Bills episode of the program. Tonight, it's the Panthers and the Cardinals in the Hall of Fame game on Thursday, August 6th, which is today. Then we move to preseason week number 1, which includes on Thursday, the Detroit Lions taking on the Cincinnati Bengals at 7 p.m. Eastern. Also at that time, the Green Bay Packers take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Then at 7:30, it's the New England Patriots hosting the Indianapolis Colts. At 8 p.m., there are 2 games at that time. They feature the Texans hosting the Chargers, the Cardinals, who played today on the Hall of Fame game. They will take on the Raiders on Thursday at 8 Eastern. Then it's the Titans and the 49ers at 9 p.m. Eastern to round out your Thursday action next week, when the NFL officially kicks off preseason week 1. That will end on August 15th, which is a Saturday, and that will feature on a Friday 3 games, all at 7 p.m. Eastern, including the Broncos at the Falcons, the Buccaneers at the Jets, and the Commanders hosting the Dolphins. Saturday, the slate has a couple of afternoon games, but in the evening slate, you got the Cowboys and the Seahawks, as well as the Eagles and the Ravens. In the afternoon slate, a couple of games at 1 p.m. Eastern and 4 p.m. Eastern. The 4 p.m. Easterns are Chiefs hosting Rams, Jaguars at the Saints. And at 1 o'clock, we've got Giants, Vikings, Bills, Panthers, and Bears, Browns. That's going to be a great game. Those are going to be some great games. Just for the duration of this episode, we're only going to go over week 1 of the preseason, in which case the 2 teams that play tonight will play again next week in their second week of action in the preseason officially, as they will have 4 games for the Bills, their first of 3 games will be against the Panthers, who will play the Cardinals today. Cardinals, meanwhile, will play the Raiders on Thursday, a big day for action. A big night for action, I should say. And again, the Cardinal game, same time as tonight's game, 8 p.m. Eastern against the Raiders. For the Panthers, they will play at 8 o'clock tonight, then at 1 p.m. Saturday against Buffalo. In the new stadium for the Buffalo Bills, the new Highmark Stadium that opened up earlier this year for this type of play. All right, folks, let's jump into a little bit of programming news for you. And for all my Bills fans here, we got some great news for you. We will return with Bills postgame on a week-to-week basis, including 2 preseason matchups, including the week of August 15th and 13th, which is next week, the week of August 20th to 23rd, and August 27th to 29th. When will our postgame shows be? Likely they will be after the day of the game, so you may catch it on Sunday, we will see, but a lot will depend on when we can do it. And that will be a Friday program, as we will be coming to you on Friday, August 28th, recapping the action from Thursday, August 27th, as well as getting you set for the rest of the action on that week, including the August 29th doubleheader game, where we will see the Lions and the Colts and Bears and Titans go to battle. All right. As for week 1 or week 2, we may do week 1 and week 3 in the preseason. But as for the week of action, when we get rolling, Bills postgame returns on Sunday late afternoon, September 13th. We will have the Bills and Texans on Bills postgame right here on Sports for Beginners for you. So be sure you hang around for that. We will definitely try to do as many before they kick off programs as best we can, but we may not hear from the coach. We shall see. With that all being said, Bills postgame and perhaps Dolphins postgame are back this year for football coverage, so be sure to check them out. For a prediction before we go to a break and get back to hockey talk, I like the Cardinals in the Hall of Fame game, and I think the Cardinals are going to beat the Panthers by a score of 21-14. I think it's going to be very close, because let's be honest, you're just getting right back into the swing of things before week 1, September 9th to September 14th. And of course, you still have August 13th to 15th, 20th to 23rd, and 27th to 29th to get ready to rock and roll for those first games in week 1, etc., etc. So I will say Cardinals beat the Panthers 21-14. I think it's going to be very close. And I think it's going to be a 7-point game. The Cardinals are going to win over the Panthers. All right, folks, when we come back after this commercial break, 4 through 6 are coming up next. Then later, the entire draft class from round 1 to 6 will be revealed. And there you will find out who I felt might have been a bit of a long shot, or in other words, a sketchy pick. And of course, 2 of the picks that I do like. You will find out what those picks were in round 4, 5, and 6 when we return. Round 4, 5, and 6 when we return. Hang with us. We'll be back in just a few short minutes.
Don't go anywhere. There's more great conversations and content right around the corner. Sports for Beginners will be right back in a moment.
Hello fans, it's Scott McGregor, host of Sports for Beginners, the podcast, and Bills Postgame. Join us this season, both the day after the game and the day before the game, or day of the game, for some Bills postgame / pregame before they kick off action, with tons of great content for you to enjoy. It all kicks off in week 1 So be sure to check out the Buffalo Bills schedule. And new this year, we're going to try our best to get you some preseason action. Get us a look at the action between the Buffalo Bills and their preseason opponents. You won't want to miss it. It all happens exclusively on Sports for Beginners, the podcast, coming your way this summer. You won't want to miss it. Let's go, Bills. Let's go, Bills Mafia. It's coming your way. Don't miss it.
Have you ever wondered about the books we've been reading throughout the week?
Are you looking for friendly banter and technology tips at the same time?
Then you've come to the right place.
Check out the Ali and McKenna Show. It airs live on Sunday afternoons at 3:30 p.m. Eastern.
Until spring. In the spring, we'll switch back to Mondays.
To learn more about the show, please visit thealiandmccarashow.ca.
While you're there, subscribe to the newsletter so you never miss an update. And besides, it's free.
Enter your email address and hit subscribe.
The Ali and McKenna Show is part of the Musa Slobodian Network, where good conversations happen.
To learn more about the network, please visit themusaslobodiannetwork.ca.
Enter your email and hit subscribe so you never miss network updates.
CNT Radio will never give you up. They will never let you down, nor will they run around or desert you. So join Nick Astley for The Melting Pot every Saturday on CNT Radio. Hang on a minute. He's not Nick Astley. Oh, jings, I've done it wrong. Anyway, just join Nick for The Melting Pot on CNT Radio.
Hi, Scott. It's Ali here. I just wanted to mention that I'm really enjoying the show, and I'm really enjoying what you're putting together. And I wanted to just say I'm enjoying being a part of it as well. So please keep up the phenomenal work, and make sure you guys keep this podcast going because it really suits you well. Now, let's take you back to the action. To the rink and field we go. We find Scott McGregor.
Welcome back, folks, to episode 16 of Sports for Beginners, the podcast, continuing the coverage of the 12-episode series PWHL 2026 Draft Class Recap. 6 teams down, 4 teams to go once we finish up with the New York Sirens. In case you missed it earlier, the first 3-round draft picks 7th, 19th, and 31st overall, were Emma Pichell, defender from Ohio State University, Edina, Minnesota, Elisa H, forward from F Hockey Club and in Finland. She is from Finland as well. And of course, Carina DiAntonio, forward from Yale University from Mississauga, Ontario. That was our last pick. Time now to find out which 3 more women will be joining these 3 women. But a reminder, in case you have seen it on our previous episodes, for the Vancouver Golden Eyes, Seattle Torrent, Minnesota Frost, PWHL Hamilton, Boston Fleet, and of course the Ottawa Charge. The draft classes may have changed due to trades that have gone down as of late, and also potential non-signings. With that out of the way, let's get right down to it. In round 4, the New York Sirens selecting 43rd overall, and they would select from Penn State University, hailing from Chanhassen, Minnesota, forward Caitlin Roberts is headed to the New York Sirens. That's a pretty nice pick, I must say. Pick number 55th overall as we go from round 4 to round 5. That was from Altoona, Minnesota, out of the University of St. Cloud State, defender Grace Wolfie. Grace Wolfie was picked 55th overall and is a defender from St. Cloud State University. Owatonna, Minnesota is where she is hailing from. And last but certainly not least, from Yale University in Rimouski, Quebec. Say hello, New York Sirens fans, or if you're speaking French, that is who the New York Sirens would select with pick number 67th overall. In case you missed it earlier in the program, I mentioned that a total of 72 players were selected by the league's 12 teams during the draft's 6-round process. And there are links both on the Sirens website as well as everywhere else to the official draft board with all the draft picks from all 12 teams. The draft class of 2026 is Emma Pichell, Elisa H., Carina DiAntonio, Caitlin Roberts, Grace Wolfie, and Naomi Boucher. Not a pretty bad draft class by the New York Sirens. I don't know. What say you, Erica? You can let me know in the comments or by email, whatever is easier for you. I personally like the two forward picks at 19th and 31st overall. I think you might have gone a little more offensively than defensively. I would have liked to see for the Sirens a draft pick between the pipes, or maybe a threesome of forwards and a threesome of defenders. But I like what you did here. The two forwards that I do like are Carina DiAntonio and Elisa H. I like those picks. I really do. Two picks I thought could have gone a little earlier would be Caitlin Roberts and Naomi Boucher. But we'll see how things go for them. Remember, they are no longer. Well, actually, do we know about their coaching situation? We know they weren't coached by the former Boston Fleet coach, who is now the coach of PWHL Hamilton, in Chris Spar. Have they moved on from their head coach from last year? I don't see that right now active. Let's see if we can remember who that coach was. That coach was indeed Greg Fargo. I think Greg is probably still around. I'll have to double check to make sure, but we'll see. Anyways, we'll have to wait and see what we get from each team. And of course, they have a lot of draft picks that they picked up, and some players from last year that are probably still there. Also, some players that were traded. And we have some new guys, some new people as well on those teams. All right, so I guess now the question is, what now for the episode? Well, I've let you know a couple of picks that I thought were a little sketchy and things like that, but I will say this: they have made, as of the latest news before the draft profile of Emma Pichell, they have made a signing. On July 23rd, the New York Sirens signed 2025 draft pick McKenna Webster to a 3-year contract, so she will be playing next year when we get rolling. All right, with that said, up next for our draft class recap, we've done the Boston Fleet, we've done the New York Sirens, we've done the Minnesota Frost, the Seattle Torrent, the Vancouver Golden Eyes, and of course the Ottawa Charge. And I want to make sure I add in the Boston Fleet. We also have done PWHL Hamilton. We will continue to stay on the original 6 clash and take a look at the Toronto side of draft picks on our next episode, which will leave us with PWHL Detroit, hometown champion Montreal Victoire of last season, 2026-2025. Plus, we will have, as I mentioned, PWHL Detroit, PWHL Las Vegas, and last but certainly not least, PWHL San Jose. So on episode number 17 of season number 5, we might have an interview with Philip Hoover-Smoot. Still waiting on that to see when we will be able to do our episode with him. but his interview is in a reschedulement as we speak with you. So we continue on our series with PWHL hockey coverage of their draft class. And with that said, we roll Toronto upcoming next. Then we will move from original 6 to one more of the 4 new clubs that are joining the league in 2026, 2027. And we will see Detroit on deck after Hamilton. That will leave us with San Jose and Las Vegas. And we will do those to round out our series of the 12-episode series in between Toronto Scepters and Montreal Victoire. So the original 6 are almost done. The 2 new are done. So now we just got to get through the 4 newcomers. We've done 1 already. We have 3 more to go. In total, we have now done 6 teams already in this action of the program. Want to wrap up our show just before we wrap it up, as we still got a little bit of time here, with a quick little look around at some women's sports that are rolling around right now. We have the WNBA in action as we speak, and we also have women's pro baseball, which is the newly acquired women's baseball league. Previously, as of yesterday, the Los Angeles Queens defeated the Boston Hunters by a final score of 12-4. They have now won 2 straight games and are on a 2-game winning streak, heading into their next showdown, which will be on August 7th against the San Francisco Firebells. Speaking of the Firebells, they are also a team that have picked up a victory. They defeated the Boston Hunters on Sunday, 11-3, and they will be battling the New York Heights, who lost to the Queens on Saturday, today at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 p.m. local time. It's time for the Heights to get their first look at the Firebells. So Boston got first look at the Firebells, as San Francisco got first look at Boston. LA will get final first look at San Francisco Firebells. That's on August 7th. Today, August 6th, they will get their first look at the New York Heights. The LA team will have Boston have their final first look at the New York Heights, as they have now played the Firebells and the LA Queens. First pitch is at 1 p.m. Central Time, 2 p.m. Eastern Time on August 8th, part of a doubleheader that will see LA and San Francisco go at it again at 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 local time on August 8th, Saturday. Tomorrow, they get their first look at each other, 6:30 local time, 7:30 Eastern. And with that, folks, that will do it for this episode of the show. Thank you so much for joining us. Whether you love football, you love hockey, you love baseball, or you love sports in between, we really appreciate you coming on. Be sure to check out his podcast, as he posted on Facebook podcast, and I really hope you check it out. It's a great podcast, I must say. Really great stuff for him. So be sure to check it out whenever you get an opportunity. And that, folks, will bring us to the conclusion of episode 16 of season number 5 of the podcast, Sports for Beginners. Thank you guys so very much for joining us. Really, really do appreciate it. And I will connect with Peter to see where we can find his podcast, The Comeback Code. A very, 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 very great podcast coming. So be sure you check it out. But that will do it for this episode of Sports for Beginners. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, keep calm, roll on, be kind to yourself, be kind to one another, and remember that we will be back next week with another episode for you to enjoy. On the next PWHL Draft Class Recap, we will be talking Draft Class of 2026 for the Toronto Scepters. I wonder what kind of picks the Scepters made and who is joining from their draft class. Well, we'll soon find out. Thank you so much for joining us. Would love it if you took a second to rate, review, and share the podcast. We'll see you next time right here in Sports for Beginners. But until then, enjoy the sports action, and we'll talk to you real soon. Thank you so much for listening to Sports for Beginners. If you would like to learn more about the show, you can visit the podcast Facebook page or visit the official website. You can also send us an email at sportsforbeginners podcast8231@gmail.com. As we always remind you, it is not goodbye, it is until next time.